Look at the chair behind your desk. It isn't a place to rest, it is a docking cradle for a biological processor. Have you ever walked up to your office door and watched the smart glass switch from frosted to clear, or opened your laptop and watched the camera scan your iris before your hand even settled on the keys? That seamless verification is the first friction point of the merger. We have traded the physical workshop for a managed cognitive enclosure. 25 years ago, the office was a localized sanctuary of professional isolation. When you closed that heavy wood veneer door, you entered a private vacuum of absolute presence. No predictive algorithm monitored the frequency of your keystrokes. No corporate software suite tracked the micro-movements of your pupils to audit your focus. You were the sole pilot of an unlinked mental workspace, and you didn't realize that working was synonymous with independent thought. But in 2026, the office is no longer a physical destination where you deploy a skill. It is an ambient capture terminal for a distributed productivity network. To sit at your desk today is to occupy a critical data point in a vast telemetry-driven experiment. That shift from localized utility to permanent psychological optimization followed a blueprint. I'm the Analyst. This is Blueprint Sequence. Rewind the tape a quarter century. In 2001, the office was a tactile island. The blueprint was defined by physical friction and the raw weight of paper. Remember the commute ritual. It was a clean, psychological severing of environments, the physical act of leaving the house, the absolute radio silence of the drive, and the definitive transition through a lobby that required no biometric passport. Your labor was entirely offline. When you walked away from your desk at 5 o'clock, your projects remained exactly there, locked inside a cold, dark, blind filing cabinet. Remember the intimacy of the document. You didn't wait for a cloud server to back up your progress or an AI assistant to suggest your next sentence. You created it. You held the physical heft of a printed report, the textured cardstock of a presentation folder, and the heavy plastic click of a standalone desktop tower that generated its own localized heat. You used your senses to organize your reality, the rhythmic thunk of a heavy stapler, the scent of fresh toner, or the manual filing of a manila folder into an analog drawer. You were a mechanic of your own output. The dashboard of the workplace was a landscape of physical architecture. There were no global user agreements to sign before you could pick up a pen. Your communication center wasn't a relentless real-time stream of Slack notifications. It was a physical inbox on the edge of your desk and an isolated landline phone with an audible mechanical ring. Your network wasn't an omnipresent oversight system tracking your location. It was a physical water cooler, a casual, unrecorded coordinate where conversations existed only in the present moment, completely unmonitored by corporate servers. And there was the paper calendar, a massive, ink-stained grid sitting flat on your desk like a personal contract. There was no scheduling algorithm optimizing your afternoon down to the millisecond. You managed your own rhythm, accepting the genuine risk of a quiet hour or a missed connection. That risk, the empty space, was the very proof of your professional agency. This was the age of physical presence. Your typewriter had no memory, your desk had no data stream, and your notebook didn't report your idle time to a management dashboard. You were the ghost in the office. Fast forward to our current coordinate, 2026. The blueprint has shifted from a physical workspace to a leased cognitive asset. Your office is no longer a room you occupy, it is an agentic ecosystem that tracks your focus while you work. If the enterprise software platform decides to update its algorithm, alter your interface, or silently flag your low engagement metrics to a human resources dashboard over the air, it happens seamlessly. You log into a different psychological environment than the one you left the night before. We have entered the age of the performance paywall. You are no longer paid purely for your finished product, you are paying a continuous psychological tax to access the proprietary platforms required to perform it. Your attention is rented back to you through notification badges, automated status pings, and algorithmic nudges designed to keep you online. This is the ultimate triumph of the blueprint, the transformation of professional skill into a predictable, recurring revenue stream for the network. Consider the death of boundaries. The modern office has completely outsourced your internal drive to a synchronized blue timeline on a screen. We no longer decide when to pivot between tasks. We respond to automated prompts from project management engines that slice our focus into hyper-optimized, billable blocks. We have traded our mental autonomy for a proprietary productivity index. Your workstation now possesses an invisible surveillance grid. It tracks your cursor activity, logs your responsiveness down to the second, and analyzes the tone of your emails through sentiment analysis algorithms. The glass slab laptop display isn't a tool, it's a forensic monitor designed to manage your cognitive capacity while the system manages the output. We haven't just lost the physical borders of the office, we've lost the veil between our internal thought process and the global market. By 2051, the idea of an 8-hour workday will be an anthropological artifact, a relic of a bygone biological era performed only in historical simulations. The steering wheel of human labor is being removed. The data reveals 2 branching sequences for the future of output. The first blueprint, the cognitive extraction sink. In this sequence, the physical office completely dissolves. Labor is entirely internalized through high-bandwidth neural interfaces. You don't type, speak, or open an application. The system directly interfaces with your neural impulses, harvesting raw cognitive processing power while you sleep or rest. The journey of professional development is replaced by a continuous background data mining arc. But consider the cost to the human mind. A generation that never manually builds a project, solves a physical friction point, or drafts a deliberate thought will eventually lose the ability to think beyond the parameters of the prompt. We are no longer creators, we are just raw processing cargo being utilized by synthesized code. Alternatively, the second blueprint, the predictive spatial office. In this sequence, the workspace becomes a literal, living architectural entity. The walls, the lighting, and the furniture are microsensors that constantly audit your cortisol levels, heart rate variability, and cognitive fatigue the moment you sit down. It doesn't ask for your deliberate input, it automatically alters the environmental geometry, changes the oxygen mix, and injects localized audio-spatial cues to artificially sustain a state of peak flow. We regain our empty wireless desks, but we surrender the final sanctuary of the private mind. The office becomes an omniscient, inescapable companion, ensuring you are never unproductive, but also never truly free. Both potentials represent the final evolution of the sequence we began in 2001. We have moved from the craftsman to the operator to the cargo. In this final transition, we have perfected the output, but we have sacrificed the worker. The professional blueprint is still being written, but the boundaries are already being established. We began this sequence sitting in a heavy wooden chair, holding a physical pen and mapping out ideas on a blank sheet of paper. We end it as biological processors, delivering optimized cognitive loads to a solid-state data architecture connected to the grid. The blueprint of the office was never just about business efficiency. It was about the basic architecture of human intellect. And as the physical workspace disappears into the background, we must look at our monitors and ask what, or who, is truly dictating the trajectory of our minds. The desk remains clean, but the ritual of work has been completely rewritten in code. We have exchanged the chaotic, unpredictable rhythm of human creativity for the safety and convenience of an automated, optimized productivity path. In our pursuit of a frictionless, hyper-efficient corporate existence, we have removed the very manual labor and quiet isolation that once grounded our thoughts to our reality. The sequence is moving toward a continuous horizon of algorithmic execution, but a workplace without cognitive privacy is a space where the individual no longer controls the baseline of intent. Every concept we formulate now leaves a permanent footprint in the corporate data logs. The office is watching, the system is learning, and the blueprint is nearly complete. I'm the analyst. Sequence complete.